Hey everybody, how you going? Good, are you excited? Youth is back. It's been forever. It's good to have you. Good to see you all again. Anybody here come along to Summer Sunday nights throughout the summer? Yeah, how good was it? So many good times. So many little cheeseburgers. It was a really good time. Make sure you're here again on Sunday night because we're just going to keep on doing Sundays. Maybe not the cheeseburger part, but come back Sunday night. I'm preaching. I'd love to talk to you then. But tonight we start a whole new series. We're looking at identity, new identity. Like that video said, who are we? What are we here to do? And that's a massive thing. And if we don't figure it out, then that's a real tragedy. And I was thinking about it this week. This is what it's like. It's like when you are playing Mario Kart. So if we can have that image. And you are imagining in your head that you are Mario and you are acing this and you're playing the game. This is who I am, this is what I'm doing, I'm Mario. But really, you are Luigi and you are coming last. And you're just getting slammed by bananas and all the other weird things that they throw at you in Mario Kart. Do you get it? Like, if you don't know who you are and what you're doing, it's like you're looking at the wrong guy on screen and you are just losing and getting further and further behind. So if you don't know who you are, then your life is getting wasted. So knowing who you are and what you're meant to do is a massive thing to get your head around it and really understand. And people spend entire lifetimes trying to figure this out. And they will like travel the world trying to figure out, who am I? What am I doing? They'll go like hiking up in the Himalayas or I won't know who I am until I travel the whole way around the world and ask everyone, who am I? And that's a really hard thing to do. Other people stitch who they are to what they can do or what they've done. Like, I am the world's fastest man, or I'm that guy that cured cancer, or I'm the funniest guy in year 10, whatever it is. Like, that is their identity. It's stitched to what they do and their achievements. Other people are desperate to figure out who they are, and they stitch their identity to what other people think of them. I'm not someone until enough people like me, or I'm only someone because those people pay attention to me. And you already know that that's a really dangerous way to find your identity. And we need to dig deeper than that. Because all those things are good, like curing cancer, being the world's fastest man, the funniest guy in year 10, being liked by people, figuring out how big the world is and all the amazing things that are out there and getting a bit more perspective. They're all really good. But if we're stitching our identity to any of those things, we're going to fall short. We're going to be Luigi and not Mario. And you are not Luigi. You're not even Mario. You're something even better than that. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight. These two questions: who am I and what am I meant to do with this life that I've been given? And we've got to dig a whole lot deeper than people normally do. And first of all, I want to talk about a trap. When people try to figure out who we are, there's this trap that stops us going deeper. And it's the trap of independence, that we feel like we've got it all together. So like at the very beginning in the Bible, it says, right near the beginning, God says, you're going to have to work to get your food. Genesis 3, it says, you're going to have to dig and plant and work to get food, to survive. That's just the way it is. And so from that point in time on, people have been working and working just to stay alive, just to have enough food to eat. And that's the way it is. But it gets us into this trap of independence. Because we're in this habit now of feeling like we do everything for ourselves. That we are the ones who provide the food for ourselves. I plant a garden, the veggies come up, I'm the one who made that happen. And really quickly, we just think that it's all about us. That the trap of independence tells us that I'm the one in control here. This is a crazy thing. I was talking to some people this week, and they were talking about how dependent Australia is on other countries for our oil. And I looked up these stats. If Australia's oil supply was cut off, so if the other countries that sell us oil all decided at once, nah, no more oil for Australia for whatever reason. This is how long we're going to survive. Within 3 days, all the service stations would run out of petrol. So whatever fuel you've got in your car, that's all you've got. Also within 3 days, all the medical supplies in hospitals, like the pharmaceuticals that are used to keep people alive, that will all run out. Within 7 days, all the medical supplies in all the pharmacies around Australia, they will all run out. Within 7 days, all the frozen food and all the refrigerated food, that'll all be gone. Within 9 days, all the rest of the food will be gone. It's kind of frightening. Like, if suddenly we don't have any oil in Australia, we've got 9 days, and then we're in real trouble. That's how dependent we are as a country on oil. And it's not until you see when those things are taken aside, the things that we rely on, that make us feel like we're independent, like we've got this all together. It's not until those things are taken away that we realize, whoa, we are totally dependent on all kinds of things. You guys probably don't farm for your own food. Like, that's not your experience. And that's a good thing. That's a happy thing. You can go to the shops and get stuff because we're dependent on oil and all that. But there are other ways that you have this trap of independence, that you feel like, I've got this together. I know who I am. I can keep myself going because I've been doing it for so many years. And until those things are taken away, those people that tell us we're good, those achievements that are just eclipsed by someone else's achievements, we still feel like we've got it together, but they're not going to last. And so what I want us to do is to pull the camera back, not just from Australia's dependence on oil, not even just our dependence on food or on other people to make us feel like we mean something. I'm going to read you a passage from the Bible in a moment, but did anyone notice the sunsets the last 2 nights, Thursday night, Wednesday night? Pretty crazy, hey? So I don't know if we've got photos there, McKenna. Like all over social media, there was just bam, all these photos. You can see that's the same sky, right? 4 different places, and it was amazing. Yeah. You did?
No, I also made another photograph of that.
Awesome. So good. Everyone was out there taking photos because it was staggering how good it was, right? And then, so everyone is just like over the moon about how amazing that sunset was. That was Wednesday night, I think. Anyone remember what else happened on Wednesday night? Just after midnight? Earthquake, right? We almost all died and we didn't even know about it. So like, in 2 moments, you have this amazing thing, like, whoa, how amazing is everything? And then within a few hours, we were on the brink of destruction. Oh, maybe not. If you got that next one, this is kind of reflects the severity of the earthquake. But if we can go back to that sunset, I'm going to read to you from Psalm 104. If you want to have a look in the Bibles there, it's on page 502, 503. Psalm 104. Imagine that this psalm was written while someone was looking at a sunset like that and going, whoa, this is amazing. And I'm going to take you through it super quick. It starts out, Psalm 104, page 502. Bless the Lord, O my soul. O Lord, my God, you are great. You are clothed with splendor and majesty, covering yourself with light as with a garment, stretching out the heavens like a tent. You can see it there, right? And he goes on to say, like, that he holds the earth in place so it won't be shaken, so that it might be shaken in an earthquake here and there. And then he goes on to talk about how the rain cycle happens, that there's this snow on the mountains and it melts and it floods through into the valleys, and God sends rain at the right time and the crops grow and all the fruit comes up on the trees, and that makes all the animals happy because they can all eat. And it even says in there, it says that all these animals, even the young lions, roar for their prey. Verse 21, seeking their food from God. When the sun rises, they steal away and lie down in their dens. And then man goes out to his work and to his labor until the evening. And then it says in verse 27, these all look to you to give them their food in due season. Now that's where it all comes back to. We might be reliant on Singapore, on China for our oil. We might be reliant on our farmers and farmers overseas for our food. But all of us, when it all comes back to it, we are all totally dependent on God. For our food, for our breath, for everything. But what has that got to do with identity? It's this. Every single creature, from the smallest to the greatest, is totally dependent on the Creator. So what does it say about who you are? What is your identity? You are a dependent creature. I am a dependent creature. That is the first part of who we are. We're a creature and we're totally dependent. Before we even try any of those other things to try and construct who we might be, we've got to get this one right. Just like my dog every morning is so happy to see me because I'm going to let her out the back and I'm going to fill up her bowl with food. She's totally dependent on me. We are totally dependent on God. We are creatures totally dependent on Him. And that is the very first part of figuring out who we are and what we're meant to do. So if you get one thing out of tonight, it's that. Who are you? You're a dependent creature. And it's a beautiful thing. Because as you look through that psalm, you see that God just keeps on giving, keeps on sustaining, keeps on looking after you. All through this week, He has been doing that, holding you, carrying you, giving you food each day, giving you breath each moment, holding those plates kilometers under the ground in place and only letting them vibrate enough to knock the cushion over. So what do you do with it? Here's what I want you to do with it for this week, all right? This is where you take this truth, I'm a dependent creature, and you start to put it into practice in your life. This is what I want you to do. Number one, look to God. Like it says there, these all look to you, God, to give them their food in due season. They know what to do. Look to God. Thank Him for everything He's doing for you. If you start your journey to figure out who you are with this, looking to God, you start it right. So this week, practice recognizing your dependence on God and His goodness. So every day this week, every moment you have a piece of food in your hand or on a fork, thank God. God, I'm dependent on you for this. Every day you wake up with breath in your lungs, over the next week, I'm so dependent on God for this. It starts to transform the way we look at everything, the way we look at ourselves, the way we look at everything. Every day you wake up this next week and there hasn't been an earthquake overnight that split the ground open and swallowed you, thank God. He's keeping you alive. He's got a reason for that. And we're going to dig into that in the weeks ahead. But this is the first big step. Practice recognizing how dependent on God you are. Because when you do that, the whole rest of the picture starts to open up. Thank God. He is looking after us. We're dependent on Him and He is totally dependable. Let me pray.